Shalom. Before I begin this lesson, I want to start off by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Chakodash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us His truth. A sincere Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom. Hey, so I just found this article and I was reading about this robot named Sally that they're going to be putting in New York to test out in the schools. So this is big, man. This is New York school to introduce first humanoid robot in U.S. classroom and vows Sally will never replace teachers. Okay, but as with all empty promises that Esau offers, okay, for those of you out there that are slow and will be like, well, see, it's not going to replace the teachers. Hey, learn the word gradualism, man. All right, this is gradualism. What does it mean? The policy of approaching a desired end by gradual stages. So we know the elites, the international bankers, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPont, so on and so forth, they want to push everything toward a more digital world where everything is traced and tracked, and they're going to have these robots out here working all these jobs, replacing you people so they could do what? Ultimately, it all comes down to forcing everybody to get a chip in their right hand or in their brain or forehead, right? Like the scripture says. How are they going to do it? They got to replace all you people, man. Okay, they got to replace your jobs so they can corner you with what? Universal high income. Let's get it. Universal high income is a futuristic economic concept popularized by tech leaders like Elon Musk, proposing that massive productivity gains from AI and robotics will allow governments to issue high unconditional cash payments to all citizens, right? So you get a free paycheck, right, every month to survive. Okay, you go out, you spend money on food, you got a little money left over, you save that money up. Hey, it all sounds fucking fantastic, but we know how Esau is, man. Let's get Sirach 12 and 10. Okay? Never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Right? It's like a cast iron pan. You know, you wash it, you wash the oil off, that rust always comes back. Because why? The devil, Esau, the so-called white man, every time he does good, it's a means to an end. It's just a stepping stone, man. Okay, he doesn't give a fuck about giving you people free money. In fact, it probably hurts his soul deep down that he has to do it, but he knows he has to do it in order to do what? To force you people to take that chip. Okay? Because they're going to collapse this economy. Okay? And that's the only way they're going to be able to force you people to take an implant. Okay? Now let's get this precept real quick. Just a good precept real quick. This is Sirach 14, and we're going to start in oh yeah, this all this is good, man. Shoot. You know, it's basically going into a niggard, which is somebody that's very stingy. And Esau is the ultimate niggard. Let's start at verse 3. Riches are not comely for a niggard, and what should an envious man do with his money? Right? It's devil Esau. Okay? He does nothing. He hoards all this money, and he suppresses inventions that could be used for free energy. You know, all these people that invent free energy, they go missing, they get killed, right? These people that invent a cure for cancer, so on and so forth, because this devil Esau doesn't want to stop his money-making schemes, okay? Treating these illnesses is much better than curing them for Esau because he makes money, right? Making you buy gas every week for your car, that's his money, right? And these devils don't even use the money for anything useful, man. You got motherfuckers like Warren Buffett. This motherfucker lives in Nebraska. He doesn't even, he lives in an old beat up house, driving an old beat up car, and he's a billionaire, you know? That's niggardly behavior, man. They're very stingy, right? But y'all get the point. That's a stingy person, right? Verse 4, he that gathereth by defrauding his own soul gathereth for others. that shall spend his goods riotously. He that is evil to himself, to whom can he do good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods, right? You know, they're evil to themselves. I mean, look at how they treat their own fellow Edomite. You got Edomites crashing out on the internet because they can't afford to pay for basic necessities. Meanwhile, you got Elon Musk's, Warren Buffett's, you got the international bankers all the way at the top sitting on millions of tons of gold, all right? And you got Edomites out here smoking a cigarette on the side of the road, talking shit, still thinking that Jake is a problem, all right? That's these people that rule the world, man. They're not even good to their own race. Okay, these people will pollute the very air they have to breathe just to make money. That's how stingy Esau is. Esau's so stingy, he will destroy himself before he gives you any money, man. Okay, like that's a whole nother level of stinginess, man. Okay, but it really ultimately just shows they not fit to rule, man. They just not fit to rule. Okay? Verse 6, there is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. Here we go. Verse 7 is the point. And if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly, and at the last he will declare his wickedness. That's right. So this universal high income that's coming, it's going to work real nice for a short period of time. For a short period of time, you people are going to love it. You're going to take your chip, and that's when they're going to really fuck you over. All right? Because once you get that chip, they could do whatever they want to you. They could lower that amount of money to damn near nothing, to where you got to live in poverty. And hell, they might even still make you work jobs, even with the robots. Maybe jobs that robots couldn't replace. Now you got to work those for $5 an hour in the new economy. And there's nothing you people will be able to do about it because they already have that chip in you. If you don't like it, you talk too much shit, it'll turn your chip off. You see? But, you know, we're not worried about that era that's coming because we're not going to take the chip. Lord's will. You know, Lord's will be the elect. We're not going to take that chip, even if it means death, because death isn't really death, man. Okay, the Lord's going to raise us up at the last, and we're going to get that victory over the beast, man. But the point being, man, don't trust this enemy, man. For like his iron rust that sows his wickedness, right? Sirach 12:10. Sirach 12:11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. That's right, they're humbling themselves. You know, these robots, they're not going to replace teachers. You know, we just want to help the world become better through AI. Everybody gets their high income for free. Everything's good. And then that's when that hammer comes down right on your skull, man. Because these are literally cavemen we're dealing with. The Edomites, the original cavemen. The Lord gave them power and a kingdom, and this is what they're doing with it. Making life hell for everybody. They've been doing it to us Israelites, us so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians since the beginning, man. Now it's terrible for everybody. Now everybody wants to come together. But when it was just us suffering, you know. But that's neither here nor there, man. Let's get into the article a little bit, man. It says, their bot for teachers, a rural upstate New York school district will be one of the first in the nation to bring a humanoid robot into the classroom. The Salamanca City Central School District, located on Seneca Nation territory, will be introducing $57,000 AI-powered Sally in high school classes in September as a teaching assistant, it announced last week. Yeah, it's going to start off as an assistant, and next thing you know, it's going to take over. All right, it says Sally will have brown hair, latex skin, and will be able to move its arms and hands, but won't be able to cruise around the classroom since her legs don't move. You know, how evil is this, man? How wicked is this? You know, imagine if the Lord allowed this world to continue. Your grandchildren will be talking about, oh, my first teacher was a robot named Sally. Yeah, she's out of commission now because she's outdated, but oh, she was such a great robot. Could you imagine the conversations? You see, this is why the Lord gotta fuck this place up, man. And all you greedy bastard CEOs and high-level elites, you're all going down, man, because this is absolutely disgusting, man. What kind of world is this? This is just the beginning, man. And when it's only robots up in there, they're gonna be teaching these kids all type of nasty shit. They already doing it, teaching them how to kiss the same sex. I just saw an article on that the other day. All right, they pushing all type of wickedness, man. It says it's exciting, but also a bit nerve-wracking. Superintendent Dr. Mark Beeler told the Post of the first of its kind pilot program, which y'all can look up what a pilot program is. It's a test before the real deal. All right, a pilot program, also called a pilot study or feasible trial, is a small-scale, short-term experiment that organizations use to test the logistics, cost, and effectiveness of a new initiative before rolling it out on a larger scale. You see? So it's a test, it's a trial run. They telling you without telling you. This is where the world is going. This is where everything's being pushed, man. And this is one of the reasons we always say, we're going to need spiritual powers, man. Okay, because these robots are smart. They got that AI now. They got them data centers connected, and the robots can get up and move around and do all type of things. Okay. Let's see. Let's scroll down. It says, for now, Sally is scheduled to be in 11th and 12th graders at Salamanca High School, where she will take a bite out of coding, robotic, and artificial intelligence classes. The bot, which uses the same amount of energy of electricity as a laptop, will assist students and teachers in classes that are in the WAS Ed, science, technology, engineering, arts, and why they keep putting that fucking tab down, dog? Lost my goddamn place, man. These fucking websites are so stupid. But anyway, let's just skip down, man. You see that shit? That shit's annoying. But look at this. They rather have that AI than just pay a human being to teach your children properly, It's like, and it's all by design, man. That's probably why for all these years they barely been paying these teachers. You got these teachers crashing out, struggling. That's why you had that one white dude saying, you can't just give them a fucking packet, yo. Because that shit has been going on forever where teachers are just giving up. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's just a paycheck. And now they're going to come in and bring this robot and be like, oh, wow, look how much better a robot is than a human. You see? Well, maybe you paid them worth of shit. But anyway, it says, instead, it serves as another instructional tool that educators can use to engage students, reinforce classroom learning, and spark curiosity about emerging technologies. Hey, it might be like, kind of like using ChatGPT, and it may be better, because it is a tool. AI is a tool, but the way they're going about it, the reasons they're going and doing it is for wicked reasons. It's not like they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. It says there will be many guardrails on Sally, which operates on an offline closed AI system that is designed not to give answers, but to respond with prompts to students' questions. It will provide data, but will encourage the students to think for themselves and demonstrate a comprehension of the material, said Beeler. Let's see here. The more advanced $125,000 full-body F-Series model for Realbotix stands on its own two legs, but still requires wheels to get around. Look at that, and they're doing it on Israelites. They're using Israelites as the guinea pigs for this shit, man. It says the city of Salamanca is on the Allegheny Indian Reservation, which is roughly 60 miles south of Buffalo, and is governed by the Seneca Nation of Indians. The district has approximately 1,400 registered students, with over 32,000 identifying as American Indian, according to the state education department. You see? So, like I said, man, we're gonna need these spiritual powers soon because they got a lot of these robots, and they're not just for teaching; they're for combat. You know, and they're acting like, oh, it can only sit down. Like, motherfucker, y'all got the technology to make these robots move around. Look, just take a look at this, man. It's fair use for education purposes only.
You've seen this in movies, but in China, there are robot MMA fights. One robot's head was kicked off, but it was still fighting. Sometimes their kicks totally miss and hit the air, but when they take down their opponent, their mocking dance is worth watching by itself.
Yeah, you see that, and there's all type of videos you can see, man. Okay, but you know, it just goes to show how far this devil Esau Edom, so-called white man, is willing to go to, you know, fulfill his enterprise, man. He's willing to fuck a lot of people over, and he's willing to, you know, basically put teachers out of a job. You know, they don't give a shit if your students are actually learning with the shit. You know, it's just like whatever they got to do. You know, because this technology makes you smart, but it makes you dumb at the same time because now you got to rely on it. You know, but nevertheless, man, I want to grab a precept. This is Psalms in 64 and verse 6 says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Right? So these international bankers, these elite Edomites, getting together with their roundtable meetings, plotting and scheming for decades and centuries, man. They're finally here to the point where they're getting ready to push this chip and you know, set up their new world order, which is going to be full of all this technology and surveillance, okay, and AI being a big part of it, robots being a big part of it, okay, just like all those dystopian movies you've seen, okay, but they had to think deep in order to do it, and they think they're going to accomplish their enterprise, but what does the scripture say? Psalm 64 and 7, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded, and that's that thermonuclear destruction of America, because guess what, man? If this is our future, then the missiles are the antidote, man. And we need them fast, man. We need Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, to step in fast, man, because this is nothing but hell on earth. This is hell on earth, man. A fucking robot in the classroom? You know, I mean, we can go on and on, man. All right? But let's go ahead and grab Daniel's 12 and 1. Okay, because like I said, man, it's not just these teachers, you know, which is interesting news, okay, but we know that the main thing is that they're going to use it also as combat. You know, they're going to have them in their militaries, in the police force, because they're going to have an army come after us, which, you know, when we get them spiritual powers, they believe that they're going to be able to take us down, man. You know, that's part of the reason they're making all these robots, and they got quantum computers now to calculate things in a much faster rate. You know, they think they're going to be able to fight against the Most High and his men. You know, that's why they got the Space Force. Let's look up the Space Force, man, real quick, just so y'all can see that they, you know, look at this. The U.S. Space Force is the youngest branch of the U.S. Armed Forces, established officially December 29, Salakia. I'm stuttering on my words, Salakia. December 20th, 2019, as part of the Department of the Air Force. Its primary mission is to protect U.S. and allied interests in space. Okay? And they say it's from other countries, probably if you ask them to their face, but we know what it is. 2nd Ezra 13 tells us that the whole world, all these armies are going to get together. They're going to put their differences aside, as Ronald Reagan said, and they're going to turn and fight Yahweh Shai. Okay, so they're bringing the Space Force together. They're bringing them robots together to fight against the Lord, to fight against his men. Okay, because the Lord will give his men powers. All right, this is Daniel's 12 and 1. And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Okay, so Michael's gonna have to stand up. That's how bad it's gonna get out here. Okay, and that's why the scriptures talks about that standard being lifted up, man. All right, let's see if I can pull that up. Yeah, this is Isaiah 59 and 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of Yahweh from the west. That's where we're in now in America. And his glory from the rising of the sun, which is the east. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, right? They're going to come in like a flood with their robots, man. You know? Because again, they're going to have combat robots. They're going to have military robots. Robot dogs with AK-47 strapped to them, man. You know, these things are all in the scripture, man. Why do you think we got to get these powers, man? All right. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai shall lift up a standard against him. Okay. And there's no way to fight against these robots with physical strength, with guns. You could probably shoot this robot with a 50 caliber and it'll still be alive, ready to shoot you back, man. These things are made of steel. Okay, they could easily put some type of armor on it, you know, or just make it indestructible. And, you know, you got an army of these fuckers coming after you. That's it. That's the end of us. Okay, but we trust in Yahweh Shemel Shai. So we're going to tear these robots limb from limb. We're going to destroy them through spiritual powers because the Lord is going to stand up for us, man. Through faith, we believe that. All right? But this is all part of Esau's system where he's slowly moving everything towards that chip, man. And that's as Jacob's trouble gets stronger and more exaggerated and more pronounced, they're going to eventually mandate that chip and all hell's going to break loose. They're going to come after us, right? That's that persecution. Okay? Let's get the great insurrection real quick. This is 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 70. It says, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon them that fear the Lord. Right? They're going to come after Jake. It says, they shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying them that fear the Lord. And low key, they're already doing it with ICE, with these wicked cops gunning down Jake on the street. It says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. You know, we're going to lose our houses. We're going to lose our cars. We're going to lose our possessions. All right. So that's why the scripture says what? Be pilgrims on the earth, right? Be ready to get up and move and carry light. And, you know, understand this is a spiritual battle, man. We're not living by the sword like Esau. Training with guns and martial arts isn't going to save you on this day. All right, it's all through Yahweh Shemel Shai. So we got to be spiritual about this thing, man. These robots come up against you. It don't matter how much boxing you know. It don't matter how much martial arts you know. It don't matter how good you are with a gun. That robot, I bet you, is better. Because that robot got aimbot. Just like that Call of Duty. Y'all remember them Call of Duty hackers with the aimbot? Hey, this is that aimbot in real life. Aimbot, Bruce Lee, martial arts programmed into the AI. You ain't gonna win, man. You see? It says, then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire, man. Because the Lord will lift up that standard, and people are gonna know, okay, these men are special. There's a hedge of protection around them, which is where Isaiah 4:1 comes in. That's why these women are gonna be flocking to us, man. And that spirit is already in the air, man. You know, I've noticed when I go to places, man, a lot more often now than before, women are looking at me, man. You know, And that's spiritual, because these women are starting to realize, okay, shit, this world, there's something about it. You know, maybe they can't put it fully together yet, but deep down they know something is up, and they're going to have to get with a man soon. Preferably a man of the Lord is what you women want to get with, man. All right, you women that are wise, you Israelite women out there, you know, don't think you're going to get through Jacob's trouble on your own, because the Lord is dealing with men. All right, and he's going to deal with you women through your man. If you ain't got a hedge of protection, you're going to be destroyed out here. Simple as that, man. You ain't going to survive against this, man. You know?
You've seen this in movies.
And when this devil mandate that chip, that's another thing. Because that's also a part of prophecy. That's another piece of the pie, man. Robots is a piece of the pie. Flock cameras is a piece of the pie. AI is a piece of the pie. Data centers is a piece of the pie. Right? All this shit they doing, universal high income, is a piece of the pie. And what's it all heading to? It's heading to that world where if you don't do what these devils say, you're going to die. Unless you got Yahweh Shema Shai on your side, man. Let's get that real quick. We'll close out on that, Lord's will. Revelation 13:15, real quick. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right? We know the beast is NATO and the EU, and their image is their image is their system, and it speaks through the philosophies of this system. Right? And if you disagree, you don't obey, you will die in the coming future, because they're gonna do what? It says, verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That's that chip. You see, in the right hand or in the brain. That Neuralink and the RFID chip, they're already here. All they got to do is make the order, mandate it, and tell you, hey, if you don't take it, good luck surviving out here. Okay? You're going to have all hell breaking loose. World War III, boots on the ground, blackouts, earthquakes, because all these prophecies are going to keep happening, man. Earthquakes is going to keep happening. All hell breaking loose, going to keep breaking loose. Insurrections, people busting down people's door to eat, you know, with a machete, ready to slaughter your whole family just for a piece of bread, man. You have all that going on. And then Esau telling you, hey, if you don't get this chip, you're going to die. It's a time like no other, Jake. Robots going around patrolling the streets. They already doing that in China. That's coming to America. So we need Yahweh Shai, man. This is a spiritual thing. All right, all you camps out there marching, taking all these shooting classes, you wasting your goddamn time, man. You should be studying more. You should be telling the truth about the chip, preaching the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai instead of calling on God and Jesus. That's bullshit, man. Leading your congregation astray, man. You may be a big camp. A lot of you may have big camps or big groups, or be like the biggest of them all, the so-called Christian church. But guess what? You teaching false doctrine. What are you going to tell your people when this devil Esau mandates the chip? And everything that GMS has been saying for years starts happening? None of you camps or churches are going to have an answer, man. You know? Then everybody's going to know that there's been a prophet among them, man, that we were right the whole time. Okay? And through the fear of the Lord, we try to persuade men, man. Because, hey, the Lord is doing it, man. This is the Lord's movie. And if you don't take heed, you're gonna fall victim to this evil that's coming. Okay? And this is a sign to get your asses in order, Jake. They putting robots in the schools, man. We have to be at the end, man. This cannot be just, you know, oh, another day in fucking Babylon. Let's watch football. Let's get drunk today. It's summertime. You know, there's fucking robots coming into the schools, man. This is the end. This is the end, Yasharallah. All right? We almost out of this bitch, man. But yeah, with that, I want to finish by giving all glory, honor, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim HaChakodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us his truth, his sincere shalom, to the hopeful elect, shalom wa, abad babal, shalom.